Hi everyone, I'm Ada Barzawa, and today with me I have Piotr Kapała, who is a trainer and consultant on business intelligence. Thanks so much, Piotr, for joining me here today. I want to jump right into it. So if you could explain to me first, what is business intelligence and why is it important for today's businesses?
Organizations are gathering plenty of data nowadays, and they have some trouble that the amount of data is much bigger than they could analyze. So we need to create connections between data sources and get some insights from them.
I heard a lot about the term data democratization. Could you explain to me how is it happening in today's environment?
Old school method was that the data was only available for some stakeholders in the companies, especially C-level management. Nowadays, the idea is the people should organize and analyze the data it's alone, we could say, in self-service mode. And that's why we give them some tools, empowerment, and methods to prepare reports alone and track important KPIs in the company.
That sounds amazing, but I must say that there is a lot of risk because not every data should be available to everyone. So sensibility, like levels of access.
Of course.
So could you tell me why is it worth the hassle? What are the key benefits of making the data accessible?
So the company gets very important insights and can make better decisions. So we talk about data-driven companies. So the companies that are based on the decisions made on the hard data, okay? So on the facts. So even in reporting services, as we are calling the records like facts, okay? So we are gathering only facts about our business, track them and analyze them in time, we could say.
Another term that I heard from businesses and ITs is data warehouse and it being a single source of truth. Could you explain to me why is it important?
Data warehouse is the most mature reporting system, we could say. So it means it integrates plenty of different data sources and gives the users opportunity to use the data, we could say, self-automatically. It means a user is only picking up some columns and some measures, some formulas that are ready, that are correct, and that are transparent. So we are sure that results that we are extracting from the data warehouse are always okay.
Okay, now that I understand it more, I want to jump back to something that you said before about the decision making. How is it that BI facilitates those decisions? How does it work in real life?
In real life, there are plenty of questions. So every businessman and every manager has more questions than answers every day. For example, in controlling area, there is more than 100 KPIs that should be tracked and analyzed every day. So if the company is, for example, planning some investment, must be clear view and be sure that this is the time, okay, for
Mhm.
example. And of course, this is only one part of the business. Each part of the business has own KPIs and should track them, should set up them, and be prepared to some prediction events also. It means through this analysis, we can see that troubles are coming, for example, or challenges are on the way, and we can somehow react before it is happening.
Mhm. I know that in order for me to do that, I need one simple thing as being the data being visualized in a way that I can understand because I'm not definitely the girl that will go through Excel sheets and go one by one each,
Yeah.
row and apply. So how does it work? Do you have any tools on tips
Of
on how
course.
to?
So the main idea is just to simplify the methods how we communicate the information.
Mhm.
So in general, most of the people hate a wall of text and matrices of numbers. Okay, so if you probably all of us have seen this crazy big pivot tables with thousands of
Yes,
values,
yes,
sums, averages, all in one, and this is so bad. Okay,
that scares me.
because, to make a good decision, you just need to know what is the current total, for example. It should be big, visible from far away. You should also have ability to study the trend, okay? So the question for the manager is sales growing or not, okay? And if not, why? We are going to drill down the data and see which salesman is operating not as we expect, for example, which client is not buying as we wanted, and so on. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, that's the version that I can agree on and live on and use in my real life. There is another question I have. it's regarding the security. You mentioned that companies have more data than ever. They gather loads of it and they need to make sure that the data won't leak about their customers, about their margins and everything. How do you do it today? Like those hackers get really, really smart.
Yes, of course. So the security issue is the one of the most important ones. And of course, we divide data into two categories in general. Critical data should be treated with special manner. And in many scenarios, it should stay on-prem, okay? So it depends on the company, but there are plenty of policies how to manage the data. And of course, these rules also must be managed. So the companies should first to create the policies how to treat the data. Second thing, to secure all the layers of the solution. So not only the transportation layer, but also the storage users. Of course, we are limiting the access to the data set, to the reports. We assign only people who should to have this access. And this is kind of common practice, we could say.
Okay, I'm sold. But I think that it's not an easy road to get there. What are some
Of course.
common challenges that you help companies when they reach out to you? Hey, we want to do this, but what
Exactly.
can we expect?
This is exactly the things that our clients say during the first meeting, and we say, get the partner to help you. Okay, so the process of transforming the company into driven by data is not even months, this is years,
Oh.
because we have to care about software, hardware, and people. So we need to establish some elements of the infrastructure and of course transfer proper amounts of knowledge to the IT teams and both end users. Okay,
Mhm.
so it is kind of challenge, but after these years, they always say, yes, it was worth doing that. Okay.
That's good to hear. That's encouraging. Okay, so one last question about AI. You should have seen that coming. So, how did business intelligence evolve on the new wave of AI that we see happening and machine learning? Did it change? Did it flip out the
Of
table?
course. Yes, because AI today is supporting not only the developers during the process of implementation, because this typical scenario is that developer is using AI to create some code, to create some expressions, to create even some insights about reports. So AI can propose some dashboard. Maybe we could say this is the first stage dashboard version, but for the people who have zero knowledge about this, it is still very useful. And of course, the most modern generation of the tools of BI, like Microsoft Fabric, for example, has this possibility to analyze data from the past and tell you what is the volume of your production per product, for example. So how much should you produce to sell everything, for example? This is possible.
That's a good knowledge to have as a production company. Piotr, thank you so much for joining me here today. And
You're
thank you.
welcome.
Thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions to Piotr, if you would like him to invite him to contact you to answer some questions, put them in the comments. We'll reach out and like and subscribe for other interviews.